Hello everyone, and welcome to this webinar on the Element Lookup tool inside the Greytec PowerPack for Revit. For those of you that don't know me, my name's Simon Dickinson. I'm a BIM Technical Manager here at Greytec in the UK. I've been with Greytec now 19 years, advocate of BIM and a fan of BIM now for at least 18. I'm an Autodesk certified professional and an Autodesk certified instructor. Feel free to drop me any emails and drop me an email if you've got any questions on the PowerPack or anything that we're covering today. Feel free to ask any questions as well. We'll have a session at the end for some questions, and feel free to join me on LinkedIn at sdickinson1. Okay, for those of you that are not aware of Greytec and who we are and what we do, we are 30 plus years old. We were started by our president, Francis, in Paris, just outside Paris. We are now operating in 11 countries worldwide and have over 48 offices between them 11 countries. And we're hopefully profitable and growing. We have been growing recently. We are constantly expanding our horizons, and we have been doing so. We've grown quite rapidly in the past 4 years, and we're now one of the largest Autodesk partners in the world. We've got over 550 staff now and growing. 100 of them are based in our research and development centre in Romania, which is where our software is programmed and where the developers sit. You know, the majority of our staff are technical. You know, we've got 200 consultants, which are all customer facing, you know, delivering training, consultancy, making sure that you guys get the best out of any investment that you make with Greytec. We are very customer centric. You know, customers come first here at Greytec. You know, without you, we wouldn't be here. So, you know, we do pride ourselves in the level of our training and consultancy that we deliver. You know, and we do a lot of it. You know, just from our training courses as a group, we've got over 3,500 courses that we run every year globally. We've split the business up into what we call our 4 pillars. So we've got our create pillar, the simulate, fabricate, and manage. And it's where we define where our products actually sit within Greytec. So from the create point of view, you know, the design software, the software that we're using to create designs, you know, from a point of view of this presentation, definitely on the BIM side with the Autodesk products like Revit. But obviously we deal with the Autodesk products such as Inventor as well from the create side as well. And then what we like to do is we like to enhance them products as good as they are with the tools that we offer within our PowerPacks. We've currently got 4 PowerPacks. There is the PowerPack for Revit, the PowerPack for Advanced Steel, PowerPack for Inventor, and the PowerPack for Vault. So, you know, we do have packages for other products as well that help to add this additional these additional workflows, improvements, and new functionality as well. Things that basically Revit can't do. Sometimes we just enhance what it can do. Sometimes we give tools that actually do things that Revit currently can't. We then have our simulate products. So we've got a range of products for structural analysis and things like that, you know, where we're looking at the real world usage of our designs and how they can be impacted and how we can analyze them and how we can make these better. We have our fabricate pillar. We have a product called, come back to me in a minute, but we've basically got our fabrication tools, which will allow us to create our products and basically take our designs down to workshop. Advanced workshop is what it's called, and it gets us down then to the shop floor and helps us then work it all the way through to from the deliverables to the finished fabricated product and to site delivery as well. And then we've got our managed products. So some of you might have come across a product called OpenTree, which is one of our products, which is our document management system. Can work internally to manage all your documents, regardless of whether you're using Revit or AutoCAD. And that can link to all the external CDEs, you know, BIM 360, SharePoint, for projects, etc. Regardless of where your external CD is, we've got workflows that actually feed into that. Okay. So today, we are looking at, in this webinar, we are looking at the element lookup. It's position there. Here's our toolbar, and it's a really clever tool. This is one of the tools which, when you start using it, I think you'll wonder how you've coped without a tool like this. There was something similar in Revit a few years ago. There was a plugin that you could get, an Autodesk plugin, did something similar, but this is just very, very clever. So element lookup consists of this panel, okay? And it does exactly what it says. It allows us to look up elements, but it allows us to look up elements based on a search criteria. And this is where, you know, if you want to select elements in Revit, it's very limited in the way that we select elements. We can select it by category, we can select it by family type, but you're very restricted. And, you know, once you've gone to the point where it's by category, trying to then filter that information, even if you did a large selection in Revit, you go to the filter selection, the only option you've got in there is to filter by category. So you can deselect an entire category, but what happens if you only want to deselect certain elements in that category? So there is 4 areas within the control panel. We have the configuration area, we have the scope, so what part of the project are we searching in? We have the query itself, which can be as long or a shorter query as you want to generate. Then we have the results area, okay? So if you think about it from the configuration point of view, so section 1 in there, what this allows us to do is it allows us to create and save our configurations, and these are saved within your template, so we can add these then into your project templates. And what these will allow us to do is reuse these, yeah, in multiple projects, so you're not having to rewrite and recreate your searches, if you like, for multiple projects. We can, if there's a certain set of information that you want in any project, then we can set these configurations up to be able to control that. Okay, once we've decided if we want to use the default configuration, start afresh, start a blank one, or if we want to create one of these, we then have the scope of our lookup. So it's actually possible to select elements from the entire project, search for elements just in the current open view, or within a selection that you've already made. So if you selected a load of elements, we can then start to write a query to look at them. Okay, and that's then the next step where we actually look at creating the queries, and I'll show you how this works later on. So there's various different search options that we've got. So in here, I'm searching for all doors and windows. So what we're able to do as well is we're able to group these areas. Yeah, so I'm putting an and statement in, but if it's a door and it's a window, it can't be a door and a window at the same time. So what we have is we have and statements, we can have or statements, and I say these blue bits are where we've grouped the categories together. So what this query is going to do is going to find all the doors and windows in the entire project, and then it's going to look for this parameter here. So the parameters that we can search by are not limited to native Revit parameters. Any custom parameters, shared parameters, project parameters, whatever parameter we stick into a project, even if that's come across as a shared parameter from an external family, you will be able to add that into your search. The actual parameter that I've actually got there, it just runs off the screen, I should have widened the box, is the Kobe component space. So the location, yeah? And I've told it to equal nothing. So what equal nothing does is it will check where Kobe component space is blank. So in this case, what I'm doing is I'm checking for a missing parameter, and I want to find all the elements of doors and windows that have got a parameter missing. Now, if that's a parameter that I'm filling out from a Kobe point of view and I need to make sure that's set, then I can basically do that. So it's really quite powerful. So what we have there is we've got a drop down. I know I've chosen category, but as I said, that could be any parameter that exists in there. And it will also tell you, which I find quite useful, what type of parameter it is. Because if you start searching air changes per hour, and you start putting in letters, you're never going to find anything. It's useful to understand what the format of that parameter is to help search for it. You know, is it a yes or no symbol? And literally every command, every property is in there. We can even come down here at the bottom and we can then start to limit this value. So get rid of all the user ones. Yeah, just look for the yes no ones, just the strings, just the numbers, the integers. Yeah, so what you've got in there is we've got control over filtering that. We've also got a search option in there as well, so you could just start typing the name of the parameter you're looking for and it'll automatically start to filter out the parameters based on that name. Then we can start to put in here what the criteria is. So here I've put category, and I've put, in fact, we'll go to the Code components once this is a drop down one. We could be putting, is it equals to a value? Is it not equals to a value? Is it greater than or equal, less than or equal to? Does it contain? So this is quite cool because this is where you get a wildcard. So if you just want to search for a wildcard in there, it doesn't have to start with the letters. If it contains, it can be fine. If you want to search for something that you want all the ones that don't contain that particular phrase, then we can do that. Got a begins with, does not begins with, ends with, or does not end with. So we've got a lot of different options in there on how we search, okay? And then what we can do as well is, depending on the object or the value, so for instance, if I'm selecting category and I'm saying category equals, it knows that it's going to give me a list, and it will give me a list of all the possible values. If the value in here is text, it doesn't clog that list up with every single possible conceivable answer. Yeah, it won't do that then. You've got to then type the text in for the object that you're wanting to search for, okay? Once we've done that, we hit the search button, yeah, and then once we've done search, then it will start to give us our results. So in here, I've done something similar to what I did with my Kobe parameter. I've basically searched this project for all furniture where its name somewhere contains, so desk's the second letter in, so where it contains desk, but where mark is greater than. So I mentioned on the other slide, if you put equals and leave that blank, it'll tell you every parameter where that information is blank, okay? If you put greater than in there and leave it blank, it basically says it's greater than nothing, yeah? So there, it'll mean that as long as the mark is filled in, we can do that. And there's various buttons in here at the bottom, as you can see. So we've got a select, we've got a show, we've got an isolate, we've got a save, okay? Now what that does is select does not relate to selecting elements here. What that does, it means that if I select certain elements in here, yeah, and then hit the select key, yeah, so over here, if I hit the show key, it will just zoom me somewhere close. But if I hit the select key, it will select all the elements from that list. There was an isolate option in there as well. So if I isolated the search, it would isolate the elements in there as well. So again, it makes it very easy for me to do. And one of my favorites is the save button, because at the end here where the save button is, it will pop up this dialog box and it will allow me to save a Revit selection set. Okay, so it will actually give me that selection set. Okay, and as you can see here, if I go to the manage load, so some of you will understand the selection sets that we can create inside of Revit. This will then allow me to save them in there for future use within this particular project. Okay, so let's pop over to Revit and let me show you exactly how this works live, because there's some really cool properties in here. So here we go in this project. I'm going to click on this door, okay, and if I just edit this door, we can see that under the fire rating, this is an F30 door, okay. So what I might want to do is I might want to find all the doors that are F30. Now, obviously, you could use a view filter to do that. You could create a schedule to do that and then highlight them in the schedule. Fair dues. So we'll do that to start with, but then I'll take it to the next level. So here's our PowerPack with all our 70 plus tools on here. And here is our element lookup. This is basically the best search tool in Revit, okay? So what we have here is, here's the configurations, yeah? So I could come into here, I could create a new filter, yeah, and I'm going to call this fire rating 30. Click OK. Let's highlight it, click OK. Yeah. So change it up here so that it's now, so any changes I make here will automatically be saved into this configuration. So I want to find all the doors. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to say, right, I'm interested in categories. So I mentioned you can type. So as soon as I type cat, there's the category. Okay. Category equals, and I want it to be doors. Okay. So I can then select doors from my list. I also then want to select another parameter. So that's if I do search. Okay, well, there we go. Search. There's all the doors in this project. Brilliant. Yep. But now I want to select all the doors with a fire rating that is equal to F30. Okay. Hit search again. Yeah. So there we go. That's now what I've got. So I've got a lot less doors, and it's only listing the ones now that have got the F30 on there. Now, yes, you could do that in a schedule, but watch this. What I'm going to do is I'm just going to delete that fire rating, and I'm going to add another search for category where the categories equal wall. Yeah. So here we go. If I do a search now, I don't get anything. The reason I don't get anything because it's saying search for an element where the category equals door, and at the exact same time as it equals a door, it also equals a wall. Obviously, it's not going to find any because there's no such thing as a category of door and wall at exactly the same time. They're two separate entities. So what we've got, what I could do is if I just wanted to search for all the doors and walls, I can actually do this, look. And we can change that to this little down arrow, and that means all. So now if I do a search, it will list all the doors and walls, look, in the entire project. But what I want to do is I don't want to do that. What I'm going to do is I'm going to select both these category ones and I'm going to group them. Yeah. So by grouping them, I can then change that into an or, but I can leave this as an and, because what I want to do is I want to then add, I want to group this as a search. So find all my doors and walls, but then I want to add another sub search category into there. And then what I'll do into here now, I'm going to put the fire rating, and the fire rating equals F30. And hit search. Okay, so now what it's done is it's found all the walls, yeah, and my doors. You should see there's some doors popping in there as well that have got that fire rating. Okay, so it's quite nice to actually start to filter things out by different criteria. Okay, so as you see, that's found all that. What I'm going to do is let's just delete these again and delete that out. Okay, you can't actually delete the last one. Yeah, it won't let you delete the non one. That's always going to be there because it's always going to be your next question, should you wish to ask it. So now what I'm going to do is, I might actually have a space information. So imagine that you are looking at the code parameters for space, and you're looking at all the objects that have got potentially a space applied to them, and all the ones that don't. And this could be for any item, from a mechanical, electrical engineering point of view. It could be every pipe work, plumbing, duct work, electrical containment, etc. We've got all of that information in there. So let's just do it again. Let's just do category equals doors. Says, let me find doors again. I've got doors. Yeah, and what I want to check is I want to check where. Here we go. So we've got all of these Kobe parameters in here. Look, yeah. So we want the component space name. Yeah. So basically, if I say where it equals nothing, hit search. So here's all the doors that haven't got that value set to, haven't got it set. If I set that to a greater than and go search, it will give me the door that's actually got that on. Okay. And I could highlight it and I could say, right, show me. Okay. And we've basically got, there we go. What's over there? I was actually zooming in on the wrong door. Look, it was better, it knew better than me. So there is that door. Okay. And we've got the isolate if we want as well. So if you wanted to just very quickly isolate more than one element in a view, it's a very quick way of doing that. Okay. So let's just reset that temporary hide isolate. And as you can see, if I do click into there, it has indeed got that value set. Okay. Now the nice thing is you can leave this dialog window open and carry on working. It's one of the few tools in here that, you know, you don't have to then shut it down to do anything else. You can actually leave this window open as a floating window. So, you know, if I came then onto this door, which is a completely different type of door, you know, and I just said, right, and we came down to the space here and we set that to key care open 2. If I do another search, once that's updated, then it's going to find the doors that I'm changing as well. So I can change things live, yeah? So you could almost, if you were looking for ones that didn't have that on, i.e. you were doing the equals, you know, we can then start at the top, yeah? Select it or show it, go to where that is, and then we can start to update the data live and we can start to see where we're at. So this is nice where you don't have to keep going back to a schedule. Obviously, I did a door and a window, and we can't do a door and a window schedule as such to get that information in the same place. So really powerful, yeah. If I went to, let's go to this one. Okay, so here we are in the main office and with some desks. So this is the example I was showing in my PowerPoint. I come into here again, okay. If I go back to the fire rating, I'll click cancel before I saved it, which is a bit daft. Back into default, and let's go to, on this one, I want to search for category, where it equals furniture, where it's type name contains desk. There we go. Yeah. And I also want to do it where its mark is not equal, is actually contains something. Okay. So here we go. Yeah. And all the desks that have got names against it are in here. So then what I could do is I could then select some of these. Yeah. Now this is nice because I don't have to select all of the desks. I'm just going to select these ones. Okay. And there's certain desks in here that I haven't selected. Look. So there's other information in there that's not actually listed. Okay. And this is now where we can select them. Yeah. We could just show them. Yeah. So you notice show just zooms me into that view, even though I've now got them select. We could isolate them. Yeah. And we can save them. Okay. So this is that nice feature. So click on save. Just help if it doesn't take me back to my PowerPoint. Okay. Oh, where's me save window gone? That's not good. That's not good. It broke it when I went back to my PowerPoint. Let me just escape that and minimize it. It has locked me out because it's now got confused. But basically, all I need to do is click on save. It's fetched up my save dialog box. Unfortunately, my PowerPoint broke it because it flicked me back to there, and I've now lost the dialog box that I needed, unfortunately, to get to that. But that will take me back to there. Type in a name, hit save, and then that will be saved in my selection sets, which I can recall at any time. It is a phenomenal search tool. And as I say, you can basically, these search criteria can be as long and as complex as you need. But the fact that we can configure these to a configuration is a highly powerful feature that you can then use over and over again. As I say, these configurations can be saved inside of your template, so you can have them all pre-set up, and then we can use them over and over again. Massive time saving, but more importantly, such a nice way to search for items based on any parameter or any group of parameters that you actually have inside of there. Okay. let's go back into that since it's locked me out. Okay, so if anyone's got any questions, do pop them into the questions dialog box and I'll be more than happy to answer them. If anyone is typing anything in there at the moment, do remember to check us out on Twitter, Facebook, LinkedIn, and of course on our YouTube channel as well. Cool. Right. Give you a chance just in case anyone does need to put a question in there. No, it's not looking like any questions. So thank you ever so much for your time. Thanks for watching. Very useful tool. Enjoy playing with the PowerPack, and look out for some of our other feature webinars coming up soon. Thanks, guys. Have a good weekend.
Greytec.